Just woken up from a massive long nap from 2021. I'm just gonna log on and play some ARK 2 or something. Welcome back, guys. What am I even doing? Welcome back to a brand new video, and we have an update on ARK 2, and it comes from PC Games N, who have actually spoken to Studio Wildcard. So big shout out to PC Games N. And Jamie here, who's actually got this, because we've had nothing on ARK 2. So we've actually got like an idea on the release date of ARK 2, and it's been like a release date update, but it's pretty much what we've all expected, and it's to forget about it now. When I found out we were going to hear some info on ARK 2, Classic Snail Games giving us saying at the end of the year we might get news on it at the end of the year, but it's ages away. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe, come and join us in our LoadedCrysis cluster for free Ragnarok servers. Link to our Discord is down below. And let's get in with the news. Right, so ARK 2 dev gives us an update on exclusive update on its Ambition but MIA survival game. Speaking to PC Games N, Studio Wildcard discusses why ARK 2 missed its launch deadlines and teases when you may be able to finally play it. With pushbacks, missed deadlines, and a long period of radio silence, more than a few questions loom large over ARK 2. An ambitious sequel to ARK Survival Evolved and its enhanced remaster Survival Ascended, its most recent release window came without any new information emerging. However, speaking exclusively to PC Games N, Studio Wildcard revealed what's been going on with ARK 2, its current status, and a rough timeline for when we hope to get it in your hands. Whether you're an ARK veteran, a fan of any of the picks on our best survival games list, or just a gamer with eyes on news, ARK 2 and its flashy, Vin Diesel-led trailers have no doubt blipped on your radar. First announced back in 2020, it was set to launch sometime in 2022. Then a second cinematic trailer pushed the ARK 2 release date window back to 2023. Then it got another delay into 2024, which was then narrowed down to late 2024, but that target passed with fans none the wiser whereabouts ARK 2 is. However, in an interview with Studio Wildcard co-founders Jesse and Jeremy, I learned about the sequel and why it's still MIA. So prior to the launch of ARK Survival Ascended, Jeremy says that the studio had a pretty cool vertical slice of ARK 2. But we felt that, as a team, it would be very difficult to follow that all the way through to a complete game with both our experience level and our scope as a company. They said, in need of a way to master Unreal Engine 5 and test out new technologies and ideas for ARK 2, Survival Ascended was born, and the majority of Wildcard's workforce had been dedicated to supporting it since. Now, this was crazy, right? Because, I mean, I understand why they did it, because it was a good, like, money-making thing, and I do actually feel like they're trying their... I actually believe, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I actually believe Studio Wildcard are actually trying to make Survival Ascended a decent game. The launch of Ragnarok recently was very good, and I know there's still issues, but it was the best thing they've done so far. And I know people are saying, Dom, stop giving them credit for that. If they're proving to me that they're making it better, that's what I want to see constantly with every DLC that comes out. What I didn't like at the beginning, which I was completely honest about, was I didn't like how it was promised as a free upgrade. We were planning to get ARK 2, and then out of nowhere, it was completely flipped. Then they said, let's do ARK Survival Ascended and build it Unreal Engine 5, and they said it was a remaster, and all they had was one map. You know, most remasters are in the works for a long time, and then they have everything. But they'd the only company I think ever to release a remaster with like 20% to 15% of the content from before. We put the vertical slice on hold a couple of years ago to make ASA. A couple of years ago. We've only been nibbling at it since then, Jeremy says. A small portion of our team continues to refine the mechanics of ARK 2's combat. It's very difficult to do Souls-like combat in multiplayer, PvP context. You could probably count the number of games on one hand that have even attempted that in an actual PvP context. Souls-like inspired combat was just one of the core innovations already confirmed with ARK 2. alongside dynamic world events, a switch to a third-person perspective, and a traversal system with slick climbing and parkour elements. Jesse and Jeremy assure me that all of these previously revealed features remain part of the vision. That's a mountain of work, and given that the majority of the company is still tied to ASA, it's going to take a lot more time to realize it. So, new release date. Jeremy estimates that it will take roughly 18 months of hardcore team focus to turn that vertical slice into an early access game. When we get to put the vast majority of our team back on it later in our conversation, he predicts that the game could be in your hands in an early access state, hopefully within the next 2 years. However, he says that Studio Wildcard is still trying to find the right time to shift its resources off ASA and onto ARK 2. So, being completely honest with you guys, it's a bit of a shambles. I personally want them to focus on ASA for now. Of course I want ARK 2. I'm really excited for ARK 2. I think having a different version, exploring a different genre with the ARK community and inviting in new players from different genres, like Souls-like genres, I think is cool. But I do want them to focus on ASA to ensure that this game is the best possible version of our beloved ARK game. But it's a shame to see that, ARK 2 was announced, December 2020, and by the looks of things, we won't be playing it until 2027. Pretty long. We need to figure out how we kind of optimize all those resources to continue to generate the revenue to get it all the way to the finish line with ARK 2, but also free up enough development resources to make ARK 2 at the exact same time, he tells me. Jeremy also explains how advancements in tech and innovations in other games constantly move the goalposts, with Studio Wildcard wanting ARK 2's suite of mechanics and systems to be industry leading. Occasionally you'll see a game come out where it's actually quite solid, but he feels like 2 or 3 years behind the curve, he says. You just feel like, man, if this had been released 4 years ago, it would have been a huge hit. You don't want to be that game. Interesting. However, he's not concerned that the long development of the sequel is going to harm it. ARK 2 is already in the top 10 most wished games on Steam. The franchise has a lot of star power drawn from thanks not only to Vin Diesel, but also the cast of the animated series. I don't think it's that, to be honest. I think Vin Diesel, I don't think the cast of the animated series has anything to do with ARK 2's popularity, personally, in my opinion. There are opportunities to keep ARK fans' interest alive, such as the upcoming Lost Colony expansion for Survival Ascended that will set up ARK 2's narrative stakes. We want to feel like we've got one shot to really make this what people want, and we are expecting it to be, and we want to do it right. Okay, I like this. I know when Wildcard speak words, you can't always believe it, but I am happy to wait that little bit longer if they're truly going to deliver something special. I mean, 2027 is a long, long time away, but many, many games do this. You Elder Scrolls. I mean, things like that, but I don't want to get to 2027 and it gets delayed. And I want to see incredible improvements to ASA within that 2 years. I'm being like a strict teacher. Like, come on, Wildcard. As mentioned, Wildcard is committed to keeping all of its previously announced features in ARK 2 and isn't shrinking its ambitions due to its so far bumpy development. I ask whether it has expanded its scope since it first revealed its plans for the sequel, and Jeremy shares a couple of tidbits with me. So, ARK 2 has to have NPCs, because that has been implied by the trailer and has been part of our design for quite some time as an opposing force, so to speak, he says. We feel that it could add a lot more threat level to the environment and feeling of being able to enjoy a PvP-like experience even without fighting against other players. He also describes in-game UGC support as a must-have for ARK 2 at launch. I'd like to maybe integrate a lot more UGC concepts seamlessly under the hood while you're playing the game to make it more seamless and not like you have to browse a boring menu, so you can stay more in the game. I would never ever launch a survival game without UGC and never launch a cross-platform game without UGC at this point. While it's finally great to get an update on ARK 2, the fact it could still be another 2 years or so before it launches will be harder to hear for some. I must say that I personally expected ARK 2 to be further along and commanding more resources than it currently is, but it seems that Studio Wildcard isn't ready to take a big step away from Survival Ascended just yet. Keep your eyes peeled for more on from my chat with Jesse and Jeremy over the coming days, where they'll be talking about the last 10 years of ARK and what's to come in Survival Ascended Lost Colonies expansion later this year. You can also, so pretty awesome. Let's talk about this. So pretty much, you know, we're going to be waiting a very long time for this game, and I mean, as I always keep saying to you guys, like, every single ARK 2 video will be the last one until we get news. So if they don't actually talk about ARK 2 now for a long time, you won't see another video on ARK 2 until the news comes out, and that's how it's going to work. You know, solely focusing on Ascended, like I mentioned. You know, I'm really looking forward to Lost Colony this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Valguero come back, and I'm looking forward to seeing Genesis return too. And I think we've got a solid now next 2 years, well, year and a half, 2025, the rest of the last 6 months of 2025, and then the whole of 2026 to really enjoy the return of all of the OG maps and have fun with Ascended, and I think we will. And then after that, it will be time to actually dive into something different, and I'm just, hopefully, I'll still be around to bring you guys the news on ARK 2. And I guess it's probably good because GTA 6 would have been long launched by then. But anyway, that's going to be the video. Leave a like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in my next video.